Hey, ladies, welcome to episode 28 of the podcast. I cannot contain myself today. I have a very special guest joining us on the podcast today. Now, I know you're thinking episodes 23 and 24 were fire because my husband was my special guest and we talked all things marriage. But today, I have my daughter, my oldest daughter. I have four. But my oldest, who, when this airs, will be 15 years old. Where did the time go? Anyway, she's joining me here today on the podcast to talk about parenting, to talk about what's been going well, what hasn't. Even some of her friends submitted some questions they wanted us to tackle right here. I am so excited. Hey, do me a favor, because this is all about parenting. Grab a snapshot of yourself listening to this podcast, post it, and tag my podcast Instagram page. It's real easy. On Instagram, it's Health, Life, and More for Women. That's it. Tag me there, and I'll give you a shout out on the podcast page. All right, let's dive in to the episode. Welcome to the Health, Life, and More for Women podcast with certified health and life coach, mom of four, and just all-around lover of all things 80s, your host, Jennifer D'Amato. Buckle in, let's get started. All right, here we go. I'm so excited. Are you excited?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to give my daughter just a minute to introduce herself and tell us something just fascinating about you.
I'm Kiara. Right now, I'm 14. But by the time this podcast comes out, I will be 15.
What?
I'm very excited about that. A fascinating thing about me is that I read a 658-page book in less than 4 days last week.
Oh my goodness. And that's not even counting the stack of books
It is not.
that you read between Christmas and January.
Yep.
Like
over 3,500 pages in less than a month.
Oh my goodness.
8 books in total.
We just need a GoFundMe account just to fund your reading.
Yes.
Like it's out of control. Now here, when I said a fascinating thing about you, I actually thought you were going to share your mad rapping skills with the podcast audience.
Yeah. That's another fascinating thing. I can rap. I can't write my own raps, but I can rap to other music.
Yes, she can. It's actually quite a sight to see.
Yeah.
I should record it sometime and share it with the
goodness.
world out there. All right, I won't do that. But I really am so glad that you said yes to being on the podcast.
I'm excited too.
I have a feeling that younger people are probably going to listen to this one, your friends, and they probably never listened to another podcast before, but they probably will listen to this one. What do you think?
Yeah. Out of love for me, they will listen to it.
Well, and then maybe they'll share it with their parents because there'll be something in here that can strike up a conversation between them and their parents.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Are you ready to dive into some of these questions we have?
As ready as I'll ever be.
All right, let's go. All right, I thought it would be fun to kind of go back to the beginning. Like, not your beginning, but we've talked about this, and you can remember your youngest sister, which she's going to be 9, and you can remember when she was born.
Yes.
And we've kind of had this discussion about how, as the oldest, you stepped into that, what did you call it? The third parent.
The third parent.
The third parent role. Was that something like innate to you, or did you feel that was put upon you?
I feel like I kind of stepped into it because my personality is very like motherly and caring towards other people. And it feels normal for me to do that because I like doing that towards people and stuff. I'm like that with my friends, with my siblings occasionally.
Occasionally.
More than it used to be more, but now it's not because, well, they're older and I don't have to change their diapers and stuff. And
Did you really change diapers that often?
I did a little bit. It was just a little bit.
Nothing messy.
No.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But I would say that your youngest sibling has a special place in your heart.
Yes.
Because your age difference, you're about 6 years apart.
Uh-huh.
And she really does admire and look up to you. I mean, to the point where she's getting some mad rapping skills as well. And I don't think she would if it weren't for that relationship that you have.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's a great point to make, too, that if you have more than just 2 kids, there's going to be different relationships between each of the sibling sets.
Yes. With me and Maya, we just keep to ourselves most of the time. And then we like argue with each other on a daily basis. And we just are like clashing sometimes. And then other times we're just like, okay, whatever.
Now, I want to stop right there because you're talking about the 13-year-old in the house. So for the listeners, I just want to be really clear. We're talking about a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. And this is so common. You're both going through your own journeys, kind of starting to define who you are. So it makes sense what you're saying, that you're going to spend time apart.
Yes.
You're going to drive each other crazy because you are 2 very different people.
Yes.
Very different. And that's not a bad thing. But here's what I notice is as much time as you spend apart, 9 p.m. hits, and for whatever reason in that room you 2 share, it's loud, it's laughing, it's talking.
Yes.
And that's when it seems that at the end of the day, you guys still come together, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you may drive each other totally crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe her driving you more crazy than you drive her.
Probably.
But I just want to say that that's all normal. And we've talked about that.
Yeah.
But what's important is that you continue to show up in that relationship, even if it's not easy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And that's, you have an 11-year-old sister too, where it's totally different and you're probably just more listener and observer.
Yes, even though I don't understand half of the stuff she's saying.
Well, listen, not all of us can be expert Pokemon learners. We can still show up and you do a really good job of listening and just being present with her, which is really all she wants right now at 11 years old.
Yes.
All right. One of the questions that your friends submitted for the podcast was, what is an ideal friend group for a teenager? What are your thoughts on that?
There really isn't an ideal friend group. You can have people that are older than you, people that are younger than you, people that are the same age. In my friend group, I have a mix of people that are older than me and younger than me. And those that are younger than me, I kind of view myself as a leader towards them because I am in a leadership position at church. And so I want to be able to help them and mentor them in a way, but still be friends with them. And then there aren't many people in my friend group who are the same age as me. As I'm thinking right now, there's no one that I could think of that is my exact age.
Well, and I just want to interject here that I can remember since the time you were about 3 years old, you did not hang out with your peer group.
I never did, yeah.
No, and you actually, when you were really young, you enjoyed hanging out with the adults.
I did. I still do.
And we have always valued that mentor and mentee relationship where we encourage you to have mentors in your life, even if they're just 3-4 years older than you and in a totally different season, though they've graduated high school, they're in college. But then for you, and I do think it's unique more to your personality, that you are also enjoying being a mentor.
Yes, I do enjoy that a lot.
Well, and I think you're really good at it too. I think it's just something innate to you. Yeah. But I think I'm going to agree with you that I don't think there's an ideal friend group.
There's not.
But would you say, as you're getting older, that your friend group starts to become people who value the same things you do or are a certain type of character to them? Or what would you say when you're looking at a friend that you go, wow, that's someone that I definitely see myself in a deeper friendship with?
Yeah, definitely people that lift me up and, like, can be there for me and that I can be there for them too, is, like, something I look for in a friend. And, like, someone that I can share my music with and, like, we listen to similar things, and, like, enjoy going places together and eating the same food.
Things that are important to teenagers. I love this, and I love that food is involved in it. I am so here for all of that. Okay, another question that was submitted is there a correct age for kids, teens, whatever we want to say, to be on social media? I feel like I can see your face already. No one can see this because I know this is a kind of hot topic for us right now as you're turning 15.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on social media and age for social media?
Well, I think definitely kids these days, like 8-year-olds have, not really 8-year-olds, but like that area, like 8 to 10, like they start getting social media, like TikTok and Snapchat. All my 13-year-old friends have Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok.
They're on social media.
Yeah.
They are on the social media platforms. Almost all of them. I know there's a couple that are not. All right, go ahead.
I think once you're like able to like discern stuff, like whether it's like good for you or bad for you, you can like go on social media. I mean,
so hold on. I just want to clarify then. There might not be a right age for it, a certain age, but it's something unique and individual to each personality, each kid.
Yes.
Okay. That's really interesting to hear. So what does that mean for you? Because I think my listeners, most of them probably have heard me say, we don't do social media.
Yes.
That you got a cell phone at the age of
13 and a
half, which was a really
13 and a half in 1 month.
Very specific. It's like a celebration on the calendar.
It is this year.
But we don't allow any social media. The only thing that you're really able to do is you go on Pinterest or YouTube.
And we have YouTube, yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the fact that you don't have social media?
Since we're homeschooled and my only place to like be the light kind of is at church, I feel like I could use social media to like reach out to people and stuff and just spread positivity because that's also my personality.
Yeah. I know we don't agree on this right now.
No.
But I also think that's good for other parents to hear that are listening is that we don't agree.
Yeah.
We actually pretty firmly disagree as of right now, and it's become a topic that's come up again and again and again lately, whereas a couple years ago it really wasn't.
I didn't care.
Yeah, it wasn't important to you. You knew about it. You were like, oh, I can't do it, whatever.
Yeah.
But
being surrounded with everybody your age and younger than you having social media, and you're like, I only have Pinterest. And they're like, that's not social media.
I love this reenactment that's happening in the closet right now of the conversation between you and your friends. But I mean, you understand, we've given you our reasoning why. Yeah. You understand our positioning, but you don't agree with us.
I do not.
And I think that's okay. I think it's okay for kids and parents to not agree, to have both presented their arguments. I think you make a really good argument for it.
Thank you.
It doesn't change what we've decided.
Sadly.
But I do think it's important for parents to listen to that either way. And also for you as the kid, as the teen, to listen to what we're thinking, what we look at.
Yes.
You know, and the reality is most parents of teenagers these days did not grow up with any of this.
Yeah.
Somehow we managed. Somehow we made it through being a teenager. Somehow we had friends and good relationships.
How dare you attack me that way?
However, we have a hard time relating to the need for it.
Yes.
And I don't know, would you use that word that you need it or you just want it?
I don't. I think it's a mixture of both. Like, 'cause if, like, me needing it, I would really, like, need it to, like, be able to spread, like, love and positivity and stuff, because I don't go to school and I can't do that every day.
So you feel like you need it as a way to reach more people,
Yeah.
but you don't really need it otherwise.
I mean, if I can follow up with my friends that I don't see very often,
So really,
and stalk Shawn Mendes.
social media is a form of being social, for the way you see it. It's
Yes.
being social. Okay.
It's being social without being there in person.
I mean, I think this is such a good, rich discussion. I think something that should be discussed before just an automatic, here you go, here's social media, do whatever you like. And, I know a lot of parents monitor it. And, when you do eventually have that, it would be monitored if you're living under our roof. But I think it's such a good discussion to have, to see there's a difference between wants and needs. And it really is, in my opinion, something you want, not something you need. But I hear what you're saying as far as what it could do for you and the positive part of it.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really address the negatives. I don't think there's a correct age. I know that's what your friend was asking. Is there a correct age for social media? And I know the particular friend of yours who asked this is on social media, follows me, but knows you're not on there. And I agree with you that there's not a correct age, that it has to be on an individual basis. But I also believe very strongly that there should be discussions between the parents and teenagers or kids about it.
Yes.
Good. Awesome. Okay. So on that same note, it's been brought to our attention that parents don't understand their teens. Do you believe that's a true statement?
It is partially true, because our parents, they grew up in a different culture, a different time, and it's not the 80s anymore. It's
Gosh,
2020.
I wish it was the 80s.
I know, that'd be pretty cool to grow up in the 80s, I think. I don't know.
The music alone, though,
the music and the clothes, kind of. But
let's be honest, you're kind of wearing the clothes. I mean, those mom jeans.
Yeah.
Those mom jeans
those
are
a
killing me.
staple in life. Mom jeans and Converse.
But you don't believe that parents understand their teenagers?
I believe that they partly understand them. Like, sometimes a kid can be going through something and their parents, like, never went through that. Like, they can be struggling with, like, severe depression or, like, suicidal thoughts, and their parents never had to deal with that.
Can I ask you, though, do you think it's that the parents don't understand, or that when you're a teenager, it's hard to see that your parents understand it?
I think as a teenager, it's hard to see that your parents understand it, because being a teenager, life is just a roller coaster of craziness and feelings and hormones, and
you don't see your parents on the same playing field as you, right?
No.
Right. And I think for parents in this situation, we need to acknowledge that you don't believe we understand everything, that we can't relate to it, because you're right. I mean, 2020 is very different than 1982. I mean, I loved 1982 and all of the 80s after that. 90s weren't too bad, but it is totally different.
Yes.
And I think because there's this gap when you reach the teen years, I think as parents, we need to listen more than we talk.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think what we've kind of set up here is our room kind of becomes this open space at night. Something my mentor taught me when you were probably only about 8, and I just stored it in the back of my brain, was when you became a teenager, and any of your sisters, of course, and this has been true, you kind of stop talking until about 8:30, 8:45 at night.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, it's like this switch turns on and you do nothing but talk or want to have a conversation or seek advice out or just bring something to our attention. I mean, and it could be anything. It can be anything from a friendship thing, from a sibling thing, something personally going on in your thoughts. We talked politics the other night, for goodness sakes.
We did.
But that's when you do it. And our goal is to give that space to you, and for the majority of it to be spent listening. Do you think that's something that parents need to to hear, right?
Yes, that they definitely need to listen more to their kids instead of just being, do this, do that, and you can fix it.
Meaning the parents can just fix the problem? Or they're telling the kids to fix their own problem?
Yeah, like telling their kids to fix their own problems.
Okay, so that brings up an interesting point too, because when you're really little, and I would say it's still true for your youngest sibling at almost 9 years old, that we're going to intervene probably and fix the majority of her problems, we're going to help her navigate that.
Yes.
But as you become a teenager, I call it a click back. That's just the way I can envision it, where I'm not fully stepping back, but I have to take this little click back, this little, I'm going to back off a little bit and let's give you some space to handle that.
Yeah.
And then also create space when it's not working so well, you're finding yourself frustrated, things aren't going the way you thought.
Yeah.
You can come back into our space and seek other advice or counsel or just support, love, and encouragement.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that working so far?
Yes.
Good. I am glad. And I think parents need to know that it's normal for kids to kind of shut down during the day. They might not talk.
Yeah.
They don't want to share, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you need to create some space when they're ready to talk.
Yes.
Which, unfortunately for us, is usually 9 o'clock at night and we get up really early. But as often as we can, we're creating that space for you. And you know that you can do that when you need to.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a great time for me to even reference episode number 10. My number one conversation hack is key in raising teenagers. I spoke about it a lot in there in the way that we actually ask the question. Asking how was your day or how are you doing gets us nowhere. But when you ask your teenagers what's going well, you actually have an opportunity to open up dialogue between you and them. Hey ladies, before we end this amazing episode with my oldest, I just wanted to take a moment and say thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing and being here each and every week. Would you take a moment and just click on that star review if you're listening on iTunes? Let me know that you're loving this podcast. Leave even a written review of your favorite one. All right, let's head back to the podcast now. Okay, to shift gears just a little bit, something we've been talking about quite frequently lately, and I've noticed it's been coming up in a lot of places, is family dinner time.
Yeah.
And when you were little, you probably didn't realize how intentional we were. We probably had family dinners every night, right? Every night. I can even see us around. Remember that round glass table?
Yeah. My gosh, that's so old.
I can picture us there. And amazing things happen at family dinner. You actually named your youngest sibling at a family dinner. Do you remember that?
No. I remember you telling us, and I was like, what is it? I don't remember. I still have a bad memory.
Well, you are a teenager. You're not supposed to have a great memory right now, just of really important things, hopefully. But we feel, your dad and I, that family dinners are crucial to having a good relationship with your kids, even when they're little, and especially as they get older, right? Life is busy. There's a lot of things going on for all 6 of us.
Yeah.
But when we sit down at the table and we have time together, for us, it means everything. What's your perspective from a teenager's point of view? And obviously, I know you remember we've been doing them your whole life, but what's your perspective on family dinner?
Well, it definitely gets me out of my room.
Yeah,
Even if I don't want to leave, I have to go to family dinner unless I'll be grounded, probably.
You know I celebrate whenever you emerge.
Yep. I think family dinner is really important because it's like a time for us all to be together because everybody's off doing their own thing during the day. Dad's at work, you're in the office working, we're doing school, I'm hiding in my room. It's just really important to have that time together as a family because eventually someday I won't be here. I'll be at college and you can't have a whole complete family dinner without me. I mean, you could. I'd just be missing.
What's your favorite part of sitting down as a family for dinner other than my amazing cooking?
when we just laugh at stupid stuff.
Which is often.
When somebody will say something, or Leah will say a joke, or something that's somehow funny.
Yeah. Which is so great at the end of the day to just laugh at stupid stuff.
Yes.
And especially to laugh together.
Yes.
You know, there was a question posed recently to a bunch of parents, and it was, when is the last time you laughed with your kids? And I pictured what you're saying. I pictured us at the table.
Yeah.
And somebody said something, did something, I don't know, brought up something, and we all laugh.
Yeah.
Try not to laugh at each other because we know
people will get offended.
But we do value laughing together.
Yes.
And that same table houses games.
Yeah. Goodness.
On occasion, we're trying to be better about that, but there has been some hoot and hollerin' crazy family game nights at that table.
Yes.
Yes. Good memories?
All of them. Except when I lose Uno every time.
Hey, win or lose, we're still having a good time.
Yeah.
All right, the last question. Now, I'm going to preface this to anyone who's listening that knows the enneagram. Kiara is a type 9. She is a peacemaker. She does not like to point out what's not going well. She doesn't even really like to acknowledge it at all. And I know that in asking her this question, because I've actually asked it to her several times. Even when I first had this idea to have you on the podcast, I asked you and your answer was nothing. Everything's great.
Yeah, it has no flaw.
There's no flaw in the parenting system, which I know is a bold-faced lie.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. And I keep telling you, like, I'm okay hearing that. But the thing I wanted to wrap up this episode with was something that you felt was going well, just overall in the parent-child relationship, and something that was not going well. So which one would you like to do first, and how would you like to end this? You want to do the not well and get it out of the way?
Yeah, probably.
All right. What's not going well when it comes to the parent-child relationship in our home or in our relationship?
The social media.
I knew that's what it was going to be.
That's the only thing I could think of.
I told you guys, she's a type 9. If I asked this to any of the other kids, they probably have a laundry list of things we're not doing well. But I will say that has been on the forefront.
Yeah.
That we're not allowing you to have social media. You want social media. Therefore,
yes,
it's causing some division between us.
Yeah.
Is it something you think about all the time?
Not really, but I mean, it's brought to mind every time I'm with people that have social media.
Sure.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't have that.
Do you feel heard or understood about your reasonings for wanting it?
Yes.
That wasn't very convincing. So how would you improve on that area? So if you were advising another parent, not me, because I know you don't want to tell me what to do here, but if you had to tell another parent how to handle this situation, what would you say? Would you tell them the best thing to do is just to give in, to give their kid the social media access?
No, because I think they need to have their child understand the privilege they have and that there are bad things out there and just rude people in general, and that they're not safe from it, and just to be smart with what they say and like what they search and stuff.
I think you put some real thought into this.
Yes.
Okay, then. All right. Would you like to end on the happy note, the peaceful,
sure,
uplifting note?
Yeah. I think what's going well is the relationship between us and how I can come to you about anything, and that, like, you know, when something's like wrong with me and when I need a hug.
Aww.
But yeah, I think that's going really well.
Good. Well, I'm...
And trusting me, too.
Oh, we do. And I love that you just pointed that out, that we do trust you, and actually that the social media doesn't have anything to do with us not trusting you.
Yeah.
And
It's the other people.
Yes, I love that you've actually had that level of discernment to even know our choice isn't a reflection on our trust level for you, because we do trust you. And, I have bigger visions for our relationship down the road, 10 years, 20 years down the road. And everything that we're doing is very intentional to make sure that we have a good relationship then. So the things that you're saying are going well fit right into that vision your dad and I have created. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Yay.
Yay. And how nice to end on such a sweet and positive note here.
Yes.
Did you enjoy your time on the podcast?
Uh-huh.
Do you feel awkward just sitting in the closet talking?
Yes.
I'd say we talk a lot, but never in a closet.
No.
It is kind of weird to sit in here. You doing okay on sitting on the pillow?
Yeah.
Good. I'm so glad you came on. Thank you for just being honest and vulnerable and being able to share with the listeners your thoughts when it comes to parenting.
Yeah, it was great.
Good.
It'll be good.
It was really fun. I enjoyed having you.
Yep. Time to go read.
Always. Like I told you guys, we need a GoFundMe for this one and her reading. Ladies, thanks for tuning in today to listen to me basically hang out with my oldest. She's pretty awesome to hang out with, and I honestly choose to do that a lot of the time. All of my kids are amazing, and even when they're not amazing, I still choose to show up. I know that we're not perfect parents. I don't actually believe that we're supposed to be perfect parents. We're just supposed to be parents who are present with our kids. If you're present and you show up and you actually do the thing, you do the listening. I mean, that's the most important thing. You heard her say that, the listening, creating that space for that. All the other things start to work out. Because you heard Kiara say, she doesn't have the social media, but she knows it's not a trust issue with us and her. She understands we have this boundary. She doesn't have to like it. And she knows that she can tell us that she doesn't agree with us. All things I believe are so important as you're entering into or living in the season raising teenagers. Thanks again for showing up. Can't wait until next week. Hey ladies, did you know that you can find this podcast on Instagram? Just search Health, Life, and More for Women and come follow along. You'll never miss when an episode is released or any of the behind the scenes fun that I'm having. I would also love if when you're listening, go ahead, tag the podcast, and I'll give you a shout out right on Instagram. If you're still struggling with knowing what to eat, if you're struggling with knowing, are you even hungry? Don't forget, I have a free ebook that I wrote just for you. Click the link in the show notes below or head to www.healthcoach4life.com. That's www.healthcoach4life.com. And don't worry, girl, I've got you covered for all the things you've ever needed. Just head to the show notes below. You'll find links to not only my free ebook, but I've provided links to all my social media platforms.